Stories about like last night, Wisconsin tonight had a mom.
Oh yeah,
6 back-to-back marathons,
for
and then
sure.
there's another
Good
mom.
morning,
Hey,
everyone.
we're here. Welcome everybody. Today, a healthy start to your morning.
Yeah, we've got Sue Spaight, a fitness and technology blogger. Last May, she ran her first 5K, but now she's only, get this, 6 weeks away from running her first marathon. She's here with some tips to start running and sticking to it. Right, Sue?
Good morning.
You wanted to match our couch, huh?
Actually, I did. It was very intentional. Happy spring, everybody.
Happy spring to you too.
Right.
Super excited to have you here. A lot of people who talk about running, who run marathons, have been doing it kind of like their whole life, and it's just like part of their, you know, everyday experience. But for you, this is a new thing.
I'm a total newbie. Actually, last May wasn't even a 5K. I couldn't run a mile last May. My son's school had a fun run, 1 mile, and I walked.
No way.
Yep. And then right after that, I started running for a cause, and now I'm training for a marathon.
Have you always been in shape, though? Because you're very thin, you look very fit.
Off and on. I've been in shape. It took me several years to lose my baby weight after my son was born, but I've always been athletic and into fitness, But I've tried running several times before, and it's never clicked until now.
Interesting.
And so maybe it took that cause, like you said, you're running on behalf of the MACC Fund, raising funds for childhood cancer. Was there a reason why you decided to join? Because RACC is what you're racing with, Racers Against Childhood Cancer.
Yes. Well, originally when I started running last May, it was with Team Paxton, which I think you actually met them on your show at one point, another great childhood cancer organization. So I started running with them. We did the MACC Fund Brewers Half Marathon together last fall. And then January rolled around, and I was sitting around going, I don't want to be lazy this winter, and I want to do something good for both myself and for a cause. So I'm just going to take a flyer, sign up for the marathon, and that's going to force me to do it, right? And
good for you.
That's really the best advice I could give anyone who's looking to stick with an exercise program or running or anything else, is to give yourself a date. Make a date for yourself.
Yes.
Put it on your calendar. Tell all your friends. Put it on Facebook. Put it everywhere, because then it's a lot harder to back out.
Yeah, and speaking of Facebook, I'm going to bring up something in just a second about that. But I wonder when you train, because I did a marathon, it was 10 years ago, it was a long time ago, but the training part was, I mean, it was grueling because it felt like almost like a part-time job. And when do you run?
It is hard. I mostly train in the mornings.
Like early?
Very early in the morning.
What time?
4:45.
Oh, that's 4:45 a.m. That's not 4:45. That's 4:45. That's in the fours.
It's hard to be in the fours in the winter in Wisconsin.
What time do you go to bed?
I go to bed when my son goes to bed, which is between 8:30 and 9.
Okay.
So you get some good
reasonable. I get some decent sleep.
When you wake up or your alarm goes off, you're like, I'm going to get up and run, or you kind of like, ugh.
Honestly, most of the time I'm so attuned to it that I'm up before my alarm goes off.
Really?
Yeah.
That, I think, probably sounds amazing to a lot of people. But, you know, it's not like you don't have any hurdles. You have an ankle that's kind of giving you problems. Is that doing poorly or good?
A little bit. You must have saw that on Twitter or something. It's just been a little tweaky the last couple weeks, so I'm just going to pretend that it's fine, and hopefully my old bones can make it another 6 weeks through the race. So,
what would you say to people who really have never run before, kind of like you, where they've maybe tried it off and on, and it might not be running necessarily, it might be some other form of fitness, but what would you say to people who've maybe never run before?
In the case of running, what I found is you actually have to stick with it for a little while and let your body get through the adaptation to it before you can decide if you like it or not. Give it a fair chance, because if you just go out and run a couple of times, it's going to stink. It's going to be really, really hard. But if you stay with it long enough, you know, a couple weeks at least, and give your body a chance to adapt to it, all of a sudden it starts feeling really good.
I think that's great advice. And truth, I think that comes with any sort of fitness regimen. You know, at first it doesn't feel good, and then eventually you kind of get addicted to feeling good and working out. You just have to get through that hurdle to get to the point of liking it.
And then if you don't do it, you feel off.
Yes, very true, very true. They talked about this on the Today Show this morning. Do we want to go there, right?
Yeah, well, I was going to mention this Facebook thing, because she brought up Facebook. You're talking about the babies. I want to talk about that too. But on Facebook, this woman posted this article that's getting a lot of attention. It's Facebook is making me feel fat. And she said, hey, you know, I feel okay about myself, but then I get on Facebook and I see people doing the latest green smoothie, or they're super pumped up about their organic green salad, or they're running a marathon, and there are people who will post their progress or their training, and it makes her feel like a lazy bum when she's sitting on the couch reading a book. But I think the interesting thing about Facebook is it can be good motivation for yourself, keeping yourself on track and inspiring others. But I think the flip side of that is people who go on Facebook and feel bad about themselves.
Absolutely. Maybe she needs to find new Facebook friends.
Who are more like her, right? They're posting about maybe whatever she's watching on TV the night before. Or
Unfriend all the fitness people and follow a bunch of lazy people.
Yeah, because you don't have to follow everyone.
Right.
Yeah, you can take them off your feed.
You can hide them too,
Do you follow a lot of
the
fitness
people who drive you crazy? I do.
Yeah. Does it ever make you feel bad? People who've on their 20th marathon?
No, I actually find it really inspiring.
You do?
You know, I follow a lot of the Biggest Loser contestants and things like that on Twitter because their stories are just so inspiring, and I love seeing them every day.
That's great.
I do too. I think that's wonderful. Okay, so the baby.
The baby.
Right?
Thing. Yeah.
All right, there's this picture of a baby who was left in the car. Where was this, Australia?
Yeah, this was in New Zealand.
And left a baby in the car while she went in to do some grocery shopping, left a note, that's the note you see on the baby there, that says, if anything is wrong, call my mom. So from the baby's perspective, and left her cell phone number.
How thoughtful of her.
Right? So several people who passed by the car saw the baby, called the police, called her first, and had her come out to the car and called the police. What do you think about that? Do you have kids?
It's crazy. I have a 7-year-old son.
That's right.
And, you know, from a mom's perspective, I try really hard not to be judgmental, but come on, there have to be limits on what's reasonable behavior and acceptable parenting skills, and this is clearly not within those limits.
Well, she left a note. Right?
She left her phone number.
It clearly wasn't hot out. The baby was bundled
Well, that's
up.
the thing we talked about is in the car. I mean, the baby was bundled up, but then you wonder if it was cold out and if that was enough bundling. But the thing is, I try not to judge too, because I think
I
about...
can judge. I'm not a parent. I can judge.
We always say the perfect parents are people who don't have any children.
Right.
But it's like, you know, sometimes if you've had a baby that's really cranky, you don't want to wake them up. You don't want to get the car seat out of the car and take them into the store. And maybe she was in a hurry, or, you know, as a parent, you can kind of understand.
People take kids every day. I won't leave my son in the car alone for a minute now, and he's 7.
Yeah. I say lock her up.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I mean, think about it. It could have been way worse. Somebody could have broken in the car, stole the baby, and then what?
Absolutely.
Right?
Or stolen the car without knowing that the baby's in it. You hear that happen all the time.
What I think is interesting, too, in this case is they did not press charges because they said there wasn't a formal complaint. But the interesting thing is they have the note, they have the photograph, they know who the mom is.
Let's formally complain.
I like that.
I'm in. We'll call right after the show.
Absolutely.
All right.
It was great to have you here.
You
Good
too.
luck as you
Thank
enter
you
these
so
final
much.
few weeks, months
Thank
before
you so
your
much.
marathon.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
People can follow you on your website, follow your blogging at SpaightTalk.com. Maybe that can motivate you to get out there and try your first marathon, too. Thanks for being here, Sue.
Very good. Thank you, ladies.
Nice to have you.
Great
Thanks.
to see you.